Alrighty. So this is a VOD review for one Mr. DragonFury3K from Jefferson High. The Jefferson High School team is one I've started working with. We are going to be looking at his Echo gameplay today, um, and seeing how it works out
Changing
on
position.
this King's Row map. So
Keep to the
I don't
plan,
do too many
but be ready
DPS
to adjust
reviews,
if necessary.
but so this will be a first, but it should be okay. Um, I do like the Echo pick, especially these days. And on Kings Row, there's a lot of flexibility that you can have. So one of the things I want to note just right from the get-go, I think they
Three,
actually swap off.
two.
Yeah. So looking at the comp that you're running, right? You've got the Rein Zarya, the Mercy, the Ana, and the Hanzo. Um, so there's a couple of things I'm already seeing. Your tanks are gonna want to play up here, right? Your Hanzo's gonna be taking this high ground, or one of these two. The only thing that really threatens you is the Widow, right, with the hit scan. Reaper doesn't have the range. Zarya doesn't have the range. Ana can maybe hit you, but every time she's hitting you, she's not putting resources into her team. And obviously, Ryan has very little range. So one of the things that you're going to need to really look out for and be on watch for is the angles, right? You're going to have to watch the different angles from which Echo can hit you, knowing how to play the angles. Your main objective is going to be either gunning down one of the two squishy supports, or doing lots of damage to the tanks, right? Ideally, putting pressure on the tanks will help the Ana keep them up. With Orion Zarya playing frontline, they only can really rely on the Ana to heal them, and obviously one at a time, as opposed to the Mercy, who should be pocketing the DPS, particularly you. So one of the things that you have to be mindful of is how am I supporting my team and making sure that my tanks aren't taking too much pressure and I'm not diverting resources away from them. Uh, because if you keep getting in trouble, and your Mercy's not there to help you, right? Your Ana now has to take away her attention from the tanks and put it onto you. Right, so let's see how this works out.
One. Attackers incoming.
All right, so your Hanzo wins the duel. You get to pretty much shoot for free here, right? So taking this higher angle, um, right? Here we go. You're taking damage, and you don't have any angle control that your Rhine doesn't, right? You want to take the focus off of your tanks for the sake of your Ana, and like playing right here would be good. Obviously being wary of the Widow's respawns, but you are not only damaged, right? You're playing right along with everyone else, so you're not having any sort of angle control, right? You need to take map control by taking to the skies and holding this kind of space, right? Preventing another rotation and letting your team work around that. So just be mindful of where you are, right? Your job is a tank buster, but it doesn't mean that you have to play like a tank. They've swapped to Echo as well. So now that they have an Echo on the field, which hopefully you know by hitting tab, your other job is going to be looking for that Echo and winning those duels, right? Making sure that you can take the angle, and get on top of her with the rest of your team. Making sure that you're winning those 1v1s because you both have Mercy pockets here, right? But the Mercy is healing her Rhine because Rhine's taking a lot of damage, and your Mercy is damage boosting you to make sure that you can get something done, right? So this is the kind of opportunity that would be beneficial for you to start looking for that Echo and gunning her down. Um, there's a lot of really good Spylo reviews, Coach Spylo, Storm Crew Productions on YouTube, that you can look to for this. He's reviewed a lot of Echo recently. But making sure that you're able to win these duels, right? Because when you're playing down here, you're a very prime target for a lot of different people, especially now that you're the first in line, right? So think about where you're positioned, in the context of this match right now, right? Use your flight, not to get in, but to have control, right? Focusing on is good, right? What is preventing you from just sitting up here and shooting down onto them, right? Besides maybe that Echo challenging you, playing around the statue, you keep giving them space to push into that left side. You can just hold this for a bit, right? The only real threats that they have um, are the Echo and I guess the Zarya because she's high charge, right? So think about where you're positioned here. Right, you keep playing in an area with the rest of your team, and you're not taking any sort of angle or map control. Right, that high ground is king. Right. Let's see why your Rhine dies. Right. What's happening to your Rhine during all of this? Rhine has no shield. He's managing it pretty poorly. Throwing Fire Strike. He has to play back, right? Because they're advancing. This Rhine is going to get pushed very, very shortly. And it's going to be overwhelming for him, even with the bubble. You can only fight that for so long. You have to help deny that push, right? Your Rhine dies, and the rest of your team gets shattered. I guess only the Ana gets shattered, right? But the damage is already done. Also, let me turn off these. Right? So you could have prevented that by having done more to prevent that and letting your Rhine and enabling your Rhine to go in. See if you can clutch this up. Right? Kind of trapped in an awkward position here. Right? Nice kill. You landed at the wrong time, right? You have not taken the high ground once here. Right? So don't forget that you can do that, right? You can get those angles. Is this fight over, or? You swapped to the McCree. I think you have the idea that Reaper Echo is going to be hard to handle without the McCree, both for hit scan on the flying target and flashbang for the Reaper. Forward spawn. Out. Yeah. Just be ready to take this next fight. You really need to be back in here. You get forward spawned, and instead of backing out, you just kind of play it and hope for a cheeky pick. But on King's Row, right? I'll go back to review it. On King's Row, almost always after this first fight is over, the other team is going to try and claim as much of Streets as they can, because Streets is very straightforward, with very minimal high grounds to take and very few interesting angles for you to work with. So it's kind of hard to play Echo here. Not too terribly, though, because Echo has a lot of flexibility. But, like, look at where they're going right now on red. They are just slowly but surely advancing, and they're trying to get all the forward spawns. I don't know why she throws that grab. But, like, now they've already won not just the Archway. Right, they have someone on the cart. They've won this Archway fight. They've won this corner fight. They've won this corner fight. And if they hold you correctly, right, and stall you out correctly, they've basically won point B. So they're going to advance, and you should be aware of that when they have such a steamroll advantage over you. Okay. So you get rolled because you got greedy, right? You saw a fight happening, you decided to get involved right away. Bit of a pacing issue, right? Where could you have gone? You could have tried to go up here and take this high ground. You could have played a little bit further back, like right around here, to start getting this. Do some poke from afar, right? McCree doesn't play up close and brawly, right? Even though his flashbang is a nice bailout tool for that, McCree plays at a little bit of range, right? So I get that you like wanted to get in there and do damage, but think about how you could have taken the angle instead of closing the distance, because you got Shatter for it, you got double Fire Strike for it, right? You get Res, and that's fine because it's coming from your Mercy, right? It's not a resource from your Ana, but you don't want to take away too many resources for this fight, right? Because you got Resed, because your team thinks that you were the mission critical person, your Rhine can't get Resed, right? And you kind of need that Rhine to hold the presence on the point. Not great flashbang. Try to throw it over the shields. Right. This is a little bit more effective, just because you're playing out of range, right? Think about how you're applying pressure and not taking too much in return, right? Trying to cover for that Mercy, you kind of get red, and sure enough, they win point B, right? Get some buttons of accent. Right. So I like that you're trying to cover for your Mercy, but um when the team's pushing in on you and she's going for that corner res, like that's if she gets killed, it's kind of her own fault, I think. Um because now you are the front line, right? Again, consider your position. Your Zarya's not in front of you to help you. Does she have bubble? Right? She could have bubbled you if she had an idea that you were going forward. She was planning on bubbling that Mercy, right? She could have bubbled that Mercy to bail her out. And instead you walked forward. So be careful about that kind of stuff. Right? Get grabbed again. You get the kill on the Reaper and you die because you got grabbed, right?
Back in the saddle again.
Okay. The team's winning this fight though. And you should start getting set up, right? So you push forward. Your team's kind of pushing in, getting picks. Okay.
Saddle up.
You got High Noon trying to figure out how to use it to end this next fight, right? Taking the high ground, good. Don't forget that they still have Reaper and Echo who can both scout you out. Right, so I don't mind this, but you probably don't know what's going on. Swap off so that we can see the context of this fight. Okay. You know they're coming in.
Adaptive circuits.
Okay.
Reinhardt.
You guys are throwing a lot of ults at the wall, right? You just used Shatter, you've just used Dragon, you've just used High Noon. Obviously they used Dupe, but that's a lot of ults for a fight that should have been won off of the back of like maybe just Shatter. And High Noon, or maybe Shattered Dragons, right? So that communication's not there. You didn't need everything, especially when your Zarya had already killed 2 off the Shatter. And now look, you're frontlining again, right? Because you were up here and you didn't decide to bail out and reset for the next fight, your team wasn't able to help you. Look again, right? Cool, you win this fight. Where are you right now? High ground? No, you went and chased the Zarya, right? Zarya has to get out. It's over. You don't, like... Unless you have the advantage in that fight, that's not one that you're gonna win, right? Not only are you 1 HP, okay, you get the pocket from your Mercy. Mercy stopped working on you, and you just go right back in there. You're not even at 100. Yeah, you're at 92. You're not even at 100 HP. Mercy tries to touch you up, and then has to put resources somewhere else, and then you're in a spot where you're now demanding resources from everyone, right? Especially because Mercy has to, because your Ana is down, Mercy has to focus on your tanks until she can get res on the Ana, because no one else is there to help your tanks, right? Tanks are going to take the priority even though you are the designated target. So awareness about what's going on in the field is really important, right? And now if they take this fast, they will steamroll you because you're not there to put pressure, right? You haven't even respawned yet and they're considering going right now, right? Alright, you've switched heroes again now that you use Noon. I'm not sure what the Genji pick is telling you want to accomplish, right? Maybe you saw the Hanzo pick swapped, but you didn't need that deflect. You got hit once. All it takes is just not playing right there, right? Having healing from your Mercy. Right? That's a cooldown gone. I hope you don't need it later, right? Think about taking the high ground, right? Look at your Hanzo's up there. Think about pushing up with your team. I don't know what you're using deflect for. I think you keep seeing Hanzo and trying to hit a cheeky deflect headshot, right? But that's not always going to work. Okay, your Hanzo got greedy, right? That would have been something to use deflect for, and you weren't even looking at it. And then you deflect one hit and then leave, right? And you haven't gotten punished for it yet, but like you're not really saving deflect for a time where you might need it. Like what if you were able to deflect that grab, right? Good push. Good kill. Right? Right? That's a moment where you need deflect, right? To get you out of that situation. Thankfully you had there.
Double
You and that Zarya are doing work. You're also damage boosted by the Mercy, but you've gotten away with using Shatter and Valk for this fight. So, decent job. Alright, think about where you need to be going. Okay. The only real flanker that you're gonna have to maybe, like, worry about is the... Well, I guess both DPS, right? Hanzo's gonna try and take high grounds. Genji should be able to win those Hanzo versus Genji duels just by jumping on top of him and making him... forcing storm arrows. Reaper's a little bit more difficult to deal with, just because after deflect you don't have too many resources at your disposal. Alright, holding behind them. You're taking a little bit of an early approach. Alright, they're purple. Who can you get? Nice. Alright. You seen that Reaper teleport? You should kind of be thinking about where is that Reaper, right? You watched him teleport. You're on a nanos you because she's afraid that you're gonna die to that, right? Which, like, is not particularly great on your Ana, but here we are in that demanding resources phase again, right? And now you're being forced to make a play, and you've lost the Nanoblade combo, right? You demanded that too early from your Ana. And it's mostly because of something that you saw, right? Like, it's a bad play by Ana, for sure. I don't agree with it. But, like, what are you going to do while you're stunned other than observe what's happening? And you see that Reaper teleporting, you know he's going behind you based off of where he's looking. The first thought should be, I don't see him, right? You didn't check the high ground. You're honestly trying to save you because you're the closest person to her, right? And she's not going to be able to out-heal you. Or more specifically, she's not going to be able to out-heal Reaper and help the tanks.
Much better.
Oh, I want to watch that in quarter speed. Sorry, it's going to hurt. I want to watch it. Just really lucky. I'm just, like, kind of looking for you. What happens? Hanzo hears you. Oh, and he just lines it up really well, right? Hanzo checked for you better than you were checking for Reaper, though, right? So keep in mind, like, okay, how did he hit that shot? Well, it's because he heard you, right? He knew you were coming. And he had a good idea of from where.
Again.
I don't know if you're, like, looking at Twitter or something there. That's alright. Okay. So, you know they've used Death Blossom, you know they've used Dragons, right? You might know that they've used Nano. Just, like, again, track these ults. What are they going to do if you Blade? They don't really have anything too defensive in terms of support ults, but the things that you should be wary about are things like Grav, right? It's not uncommon to Grav a Genji Blade, especially a nanoed one, because the Grav gives you, like, just enough time to get him off the dash and then waste the rest of the Nano and the Blade timer. You might see a Shatter, right? So there's other ults that will probably be used to counteract you. You should be thinking about avoiding these ults, where your threats lie in terms of those ults, and also what combos that you have with your team, right? So if you were to Blade right now, you wouldn't get much done because you'd have to go really far deep in, and your team isn't ready to support you, right? If you were to wait another 30 seconds, there's a good chance their tanks both have their ults, right? And your Ana won't get nano. If you wait for a long while, right, you could save Blade this fight, but you don't really have anything else to work with besides Shatter, right? So think about where the ults come into play. I'm curious to see how this fight's going to devolve specifically. Alright, Shatters get traded out. Doesn't seem like any of them did anything. You want this Hanzo again. Okay. So you lost out on that, right? You went in when there was no pressure to help, right? Your Rhine's down. Your team's got to back up. All the attention can now easily be put onto you, right? That's not a situation that you're going to really be able to get your way out of. You should try to dive them while your team's going for an engage, right? Because the way that you're going to get success off of a dive is when you catch someone off guard or are able to get something done while your team is doing things, right? You need to be in sync with your team. And while you're trying to set up, right? I don't know if this is... Sorry, I'm going to go back again. I don't know if this is because you wasted time just, like, fiddling around here, right? Like, you don't try to climb to anything. You don't try to do some getting tech, right? The fight's beginning. Fight's beginning. Both shatters have been traded. Nothing's happened, right? And now you've been out of the opportunity that you had while things were happening, while your team was trying to make a push. And then by the time you start pushing, your team has already given up on the push, right? Do you see that? Like, yes, you get the Hanzo, but while your tanks are pushing the rest of your, or while their tanks are pushing the rest of your team back, you're back there, and they just focus on you, right? And then Mercy's trade out the res, right? Their Hanzo comes back, your Ryan comes back, but your Ana's gone, and so all they have again is Mercy heals. Right, Mercy or Zarya tries to clutch it out, right? Like your Zarya is kind of the star of the show here, right? She's the one carrying a lot of the weight here. So now you've got Nano Blade up again, right? You've held it for long enough, and the ults that are gonna threaten you are gone, right? So this is something that like you and your team need to know. We're gonna set for a Nano Blade, right? You need to be ready and stage for this Nano Blade, because that's gonna be what wins this fight. Okay. Alright, you see that Reaper. I hope you're communicating that. Sleep dodge. What are you swinging at? Okay. I want to watch this back, right? Let's watch this back in, like, half speed. Just to see how this fight devolves. Okay, so you've seen this Reaper. You don't challenge him to pressure him to get off of high ground, right? You kind of just let him do his thing and poke at him, and you say, all right, now that he's gone and out of my field of vision, I'm gonna go for the Nano Blade play while your team's getting pushed on, right? Which is like not the worst timing, because you're also ruining their push and your Ryan's able to push in with you, but like you clearly didn't have a plan for how you wanted to do this, right? You kind of just swung around. You didn't think about, okay, well, maybe I can kill the Reaper. Maybe his Wraith is forced. Maybe I can get one of the other squishies. You kind of just went in and did it without planning out where you wanted to go. Something you could have done here was, like, try and jump across to him while popping Blade, scare him off, and then use that dash to go on a squishy, right? You scare him off, and he's doing his push while you're doing yours. And yes, you are nanoed, right? And you've taken away the Zarya and the Reinhardt's attention, but there's no one here challenging the Reaper yet. Right, Reaper is able to get out of dodge, right? Not the greatest blade that you could have had. Yeah, you get the Ana though, and that's really big because now they only have Mercy heals for their tanks. Like, if there's a target that you need to kill, that's definitely one of them. Right, but think about what could have made that better. Because, like, you could have ended that fight there. Alright, your supports are down now. And your supports are down because that Reaper went unchecked.
I've never called myself a revolutionary. I'm a fighter.
Alright. Now, I'm not saying Genji's like the answer to countering Reaper, right? That's not what I'm trying to say, but it's like, out of everyone who's here, besides the Hanzo, who's going to be trying to shoot down main and break shields, and maybe take high ground angles, like, you're going to be partially responsible for that. As a hero that flanks a lot and gets value out of flanks, like, being able to anti-flank will be good as well. I don't want to look at this too much, just because it's really just going to be mechanical, right? You're stalling on Tracer. Okay. I presume they cap. Yep, okay.
Ready for battle. Ready for battle.
You have played a variety of heroes so far. I'm interested to see how this goes. Alright, let's do a reassessment of the situation. So you're playing a D.Va Rein, Mercy Pocket for the Ashe Ana. So again, D.Va's going to be helping, or sorry, Ana's going to be helping the D.Va and Rein. Mercy's going to be pocketing the Ash. You're kind of on your own, and you need to start playing around health packs, right? You don't necessarily need to be worrying about hacking them. But one of the big things that you are going to have to think about is taking out that main tank, right? Getting the angle to let your team push in, right? Applying pressure in a way that isn't as straightforward. So for this kind of situation, right, you can maybe set up your translocator here. What if you like ran across the stairs? Hanzo might scout you out with Sonic, right? But if you were able to get like a angle on this Rhine and break his shield, that lets your team push in and follow through, right? Um, so what I want to see out of this is you are playing not necessarily backline, right? Because you might run into Reaper in the process, right? Their Moira can cancel out your hack pretty well if she sees you, and she's probably going to be playing closer with the tanks, admittedly. But like you need to be going for some sort of off-angle hack here.
Eyes on the bag.
Right? You know where the Reaper is now. You go for the hack on him, right? That hack wasn't going to do much because your team wasn't going to be able to follow through on it. It would just inconvenience him a little. I guess you might have been going for the Ryan. It doesn't matter too much because he takes way too much damage on arrival, right? Alright, you kill them. You got the Ana. Not bad. Your team just kind of rolls this through. I'm gonna look at this again just to see what happens, right? Is it you playing well? Is it them playing poorly? Alright, so Reaper gets forced out. Ryan just takes a lot of damage on these swings, right? He's not getting the help that he needs. I'm not sure why, but your team starts pushing off this. You should be pushing in as well. Good, right? Blast down the Zarya, right? You hear that Reaper? You're looking for him.
I need healing.
You don't need healing. You're at 200,
Don't mind
right?
me.
Hey, be careful about this, right? Taking that angle, denying that Ryan from being able to recontest. You're starting the snowball for your team, right? This isn't bad. Surprised you get that hack off.
See you later.
Alright, you have translocator. You're not really doing a whole lot with translocator. You're kind of just tossing around, right? Now you spent this time not assisting your Ryan who's trying to take space, right? You're not helping apply pressure to the front with hacks. You just kind of stood around and choked, waiting for something to happen. Right, be decisive. You've hacked Zarya. Your Ryan's taking too much shield pressure. Right, you know where the location is of these guys, right? Why aren't you going like here, right? Maybe somewhere like here if they're gonna try to take that corner. You could have thrown your translocator up top once you saw the Reaper disappear. If you wanted to, you could have gone to the back line and tried to hack someone from there, right? But you need to be hacking when your team's trying to push in, right? Think about that, apply pressure. I hope this is communicated, because this looks like it's gonna be big. Right, EMP, bomb, not bad, right? I don't know who started this fight, actually. Was it you? Was it the diva? Okay, you started it. Throwing 4 ults into this fight. I really hope you don't lose it. Alright, you just kind of stand in coalescence. You get rezzed. Nope. Mercy dies.
It's all up from here. See
Alright,
you
pretty
later.
decent fight. Kind of excessive what you've thrown at it. Especially Nano, like that was kind of overkill. Right, some of your major fight winning ults are all gone. Right? Okay, you're just shooting at shields here, waiting for a hack. Right, Ryan can just shield that off. Ryan knows what he's looking for. Right? He keeps cutting off your hack by turning, and only when he charges are you able to do something with that, right? If you want EMP, you need to be playing faster for hacks. Right, All right, they're doing the same thing that you just did, where they threw 4 ults at the situation. You set up backline. Cool. All right, not bad.
Ahorita regreso.
All right. So now your job is going to be waiting for either, I guess, a C9 opportunity, right? Ana's definitely worried about.
Payload's not doing much good sitting there.
Okay. What are you gonna do,
I'm
right?
moving the payload.
Bad timing.
I'm out of here.
But you pull the supports back.
I might need this later. Feeling much
Okay.
better.
I don't think they can hear you when you're like that.
Miss me?
Right, so they're just standing on the point. Right, you're definitely taking attention away from their supports, which is good. Use your translocator. Like, you overstayed your welcome there.
Heroes never die. You didn't see that coming. ¿Me extrañaste?
Oh, that Ryan was... I think he thought you had the hack. I want to watch it again.
You didn't see that coming. ¿Me extrañaste?
Okay. Right, you're going for, again, right, these same angle hacks as what the Ryan's already trying to shield, and I know that this flank is covered already. But you know, there's several ways to get around the situation, right? You could be playing here, you could be playing here. Given where their team's positioned, you could be playing high ground even, right? Like you need to be getting some sort of off angle to get these hacks off on the Ryan. That's what's most obnoxious, is when they have to turn their focus away from something. But because you're just kind of like going and poking them in the chest, right? Instead of poking them in the back, right? I would argue that one of those is slightly more annoying than the other. Right? Okay, you're trying to bail out your Ryan.
Ahorita regreso. See you
You
later.
don't have to bail out your Ryan there. I think he's got that situation handled. Right? Start looking for the angle. Right? Like you're gone. Instead you're just hacking like right behind your Ryan. I don't understand this, right? Like, why aren't you looking for an angle there? Obviously there's no Ryan to hack, so it's not like, you know, right now it's not a big problem. But what this habit tells me is that you're going to do it again later, right? Why aren't you looking for, now that you know that the flanker is gone, right? The Reaper, who is like the only person who's probably going to find you here. Why aren't you trying to take like some high ground angle, or right here? Why do you insist on being on your Ryan's like back? Like, he's giving you a piggyback ride through the payload. I don't understand like what the intent is there. Maybe you think that your hack is protected, right? But in the time that takes most people at a lower elo to respond to the fact that they're even being hacked, like that, it's already happened, right? Again, keep looking for those off angles. You got the recontest, cool.
Be right back.
You got like 10 seconds for that thing to lower. Your Ryan just got himself into a sticky situation.
Don't mind me.
Hack the Ana. Right. Okay, she's gone too. It wouldn't be a bad idea to try and hack this this health pack right here, right? This is a critical one for them. So denying them that resource is big too. Right? That one's helpful because it's close, but the other one's helpful because it's harmful to the other team. Right? Like, good. Good. Do you see what happened to that Ryan? That Ryan was too busy focusing on what he was swinging on. I'm gonna look at him again. Right? Ryan had his tunnel vision blinders on. He didn't even see you, and because he got hacked and had no way of protecting himself, if he got in trouble, he just got mowed down. Right? Obviously, his shield management could use some work, but right here, okay, shield's getting hurt. He's bubbled. He can swing. He gets hacked, and look, right? He's running in without any sort of help. He's making a bad time to push, but more importantly, like you have enabled this, right? Like, even though he's making mistakes, you did the right maneuver here. By focusing on him, you gunned him down from the high ground. He couldn't look at everywhere at once. And you now have momentum again, right? This is the kind of play that we need to be seeing more of. It's like, think about how you can get these angles, right?
Big healing over here.
All right. Hopefully you called that as well. D.Va comes to help you. Reaper did not get what he wanted out of that. You played right in front of the Ryan. That's big, actually. I think you just canceled that. an ult or two, right? That's huge, and I want to look at why that's huge, right? Not just because you hit 4 people, but think about when you're hitting it, right? Okay, so you getting challenged up there helps kind of ruin what that Reaper is looking for. He gets pushed away, right? Now I want you to look at what's happening here, right? Okay, you mess up the hack on the Rhine because you're just too close. He knows where you're coming from. They're starting to collapse on your team, right? They ult. So first of all, good on canceling Cole, because that probably would have pushed your team back. But your team is in a position where they're ready to engage, right? Now the flow starts in your momentum, and that Ryan just takes the opportunity. While that team is trying to push into you, they are now disabled, pretty much, by having no abilities. You've shot them in the foot. Your team is in a healthy enough position where they can engage on top of it. They capitalize, right? Ryan took zero hesitation in charging in. Not the play I would have done, but he engaged on top of it. Their Zarya was still trying to engage. She didn't even like realize she had been hacked, and she gets melted because she's pushing into a situation she will not win, right? This is very good. You're right. It kind of got overzealous, but this is a situation that's like definitely winnable and clean upable, right? Yeah, you use bomb, cleanup happens. Hanzo wasn't in the right position. Good, right? Like your team won off the back of that EMP. That was very, very clean. And think about like when they were ready to go in off of that. So good job with that one.
2-3.
A little bit.
Ready for battle.
Our world is worth fighting for.
Oh yeah, and you get the attack because he didn't finish it. So I'm presuming that you get the tick because you have 3 minutes and there's only a minute left in this recording. All right, you've shown me a host of DPS, right? I like that you're able to have the flexibility. What I'm worried about is that some of these characters you play at a much higher skill than others, right? So while flexibility is good, right, make sure that your flexibility is on characters that you're decent at, right? Not that I'm not calling you bad at any given character, right? Just think about like, you've shown me Sombra, you've shown me Genji, you've shown me Echo, you're showing me Mei, you showed me a little bit of Tracer. Obviously that was a stall, right? But like think about what your team needs you to do, and if you're going to be able to provide that. So maybe focus in on a couple more heroes, especially when things aren't working. I mean, this is kind of a classic, right? They're trying to cheese you out with Sim. With Maywall, it's hard because you don't have a Lucio and you're still getting the pocketed dash. But like one of the big things that you're gonna be looking for is to split them up with a wall, right? Especially on King's Row. King's Row is huge for that. Like walling him off, perfect, right? Your team wasn't ready for it, but you did the right thing. Actually, you went off that? Yeah. Cool. Your team reconvened with you. You didn't push the same way, but you played that pretty much exactly right. I'm gonna show you why. Right. Even if it was sloppy, the intent was there and it was good. Right. I guess. All right. So Ryan knows that you're swinging wide. He just goes too far in, and that wall pretty much seals his fate. Your Ryan is just not understanding what the plan is, but the rest of your team definitely does, right? Like your team knows what's happening here, and Ryan gets there in time. So you trade out main tanks. You trade out main tanks for 2 reasons. You earned the kill on this Ryan because he made a positional mistake. They were gifted the kill on your Ryan because he didn't know what was happening. All right, you start blizzarding your way in. Not the greatest of walls, but that's okay. Nice headshot, right? Wall would be good to like cut off that Zen here, right? Like that wall didn't really trap anyone, but you could be cutting off a healer, right? Splitting them off from the point is good because he's gonna try and do some pressure from you, sealing those people in that area. Nice job, good job. Okay, then the main play is really good. So I think at a game sense level, I think you know a lot of the things that you want to happen, or what your win conditions are. Like I think you recognize what the win conditions are, but you don't understand fully how you're going to approach them, right? We've seen stuff like, okay, we're gonna EMP and we're gonna push off that. We're gonna EMP bomb. We're gonna EMP shatter. Cool, right? Like you understand your synergies. Good. You don't fully recognize why um, your position matters in that, I think, right? Your positions are out of sync with the rest of your team, and it makes these engagements a little bit harder. It makes these fights a little bit harder and not in your favor. Um, so while you're looking for the right things, the reason you aren't finding them is because of mistakes on your part with positioning, right? Um, so in this case, you saw an opportunity, you took it. Your team kind of needed to play around you, and they messed that up. That's not on you. Um, but things like getting the Genji blade, right? Trying to split off the team with hacks. Like you're maybe wondering like, why can't I hack this Ryan in time? Or why am I not getting this fight to keep snowballing? It's like, well, you're playing right behind your Ryan. Not only is it hard for you to see the target, you're not doing it from an angle that they don't expect, right? So getting a little bit more creative with what you're looking for in terms of these win conditions. And just controlling the space a little bit better too, I think is something that needs to happen, right? If I went back to the beginning, we saw with Echo, um, you
Ready
had
for
a lot
battle.
of trouble playing anywhere besides right behind your tanks, right? And um, there are DPS that do that. Junkrat is not a terrible choice, right? He's definitely spammy from a distance. I don't want to show myself, right? I think playing more Junkrat would make you think a little bit more about, where might I get approached from? How can I fight without them inherently like just looking right at me, right? Some characters obviously thrive playing behind tanks or with their tanks. Usually it's more like Lucio type characters. But like DPS, like you should be looking for the flank here. And said
I
you're
have my
hugging your
target.
Ryan, and I want you to notice that you do the same thing with Sombra. And what is the better use of your time, right? Can I be controlling the space a little bit better so my Ryan doesn't get pressured out? What can I be doing to um, earn this space back? Because you lose control of the area when you're not playing it, right? Like because your Ryan's playing here, until you get to this point, you don't have this lane, right? This is not within your control, right? And there's not a whole lot preventing you from just sitting up here and shooting in. When we look at the McCree gameplay, right? That's another character that you showed off today, right? You're playing right behind your tanks, not the worst thing in the world, right? And you're trying to set yourself up for flanks, but then you also get too greedy, right? And you're pushing right down main when instead your time would be better spent looking on how to control the space, right? Kills does not equal control. Kills are a result of the control, right? Right. So backing up, setting up for your win condition here. You want a high noon. You want to ult them from the top ropes. That makes sense, right? Um, and you're aware of some threats, right? I think knowing that Echo might find you if you stood up top, Reaper would find you if you stood up top, like you're definitely cognizant of that, right? But then timing it with your team's engagements is hard. So it's like you've shown me versatility in the DPS pool, but you haven't shown me um, versatility in playing them, right? You don't play these DPS differently. You play them all exactly the same, and for some that's okay, and for some that's not good, right?
It's
I know you're talking about like your aim not being great, and I honestly like that's fine. Right? That's a mechanical thing. That's something that you can work on. But like right here is an example. Like you want to have control of the situation, so you think Zarya's the target. Like Zarya's got to go. Help your team like win this fight, especially because you won't get punished for it, right? The people that you need to be looking out for are behind you. Cool. And then you go and you try to just fight down mid, right? And you don't have control of that space. They do. They do because your tanks aren't there to help you, and you just get melted down, right? So just be a little bit more aware of that. Um, that is it for my recording for tonight. I will send this in the team Discord. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, share it with people. I'm more than happy to do more of these VOD reviews for any of my teams. And hopefully it was informational. I know it's not, the most in-depth content, but um, I think there's a lot of things that are very surface level that definitely need to be worked on first. So, all right, have a good night.